you're in the car business. You remember what it was like when gas prices just shot through the roof. You remember what happened to values of the heavy trucks and diesels and all that. I mean, it just killed the market on those vehicles. But you know what that made a lot of people realize is, you know, maybe we need to think about some alternative options for fuel. Have you thought of that?
Oh, I've thought about it.
What? Give me some ideas.
I've got the solution.
What is it?
Well, first of all, you know, I'm for all the above approach. I'm for wind, I'm for bio, I'm for solar, you name it, I'm for it. The difference is that I don't want the federal government to tell me what we need to be using. I want the private sector to tell me what we need to be using. Where do we need to be 25, 50, 100 years from now? Let the private sector tell us that. While the private sector is studying that, we need to become the most dominant player in the energy sector in the world. We are so subservient to foreign energy right now. It's a crime, and that's why we need to energize, as I talk about. We need to energize the energy business, not penalize them. We need to build that pipeline. How about the Keystone Pipeline being built from Canada to Port Arthur that would create over 20,000 jobs? Some say it's $60,000 a job. That's huge. We need to do that. We need to be able to drill in Anwar. We need to be able to drill on government lands. We need to drill in the Gulf. We need to quit giving $3 billion to Brazil, like this president's doing, and tell them to drill and we'll be your best customer. We need to quit buying 11% of our oil from Venezuela, from Chavez, who says America can go to hell. We need to cut him off. It's 60% of his penetration or his total sales. Cut him off and let him die a slow death from a business standpoint. But we need to be dominant. You know, right now we're always worried about what's going to happen in the Straits of Hormuz, that Iran's going to shut it down. Where are we going to be? Well, if we become the dominant force in energy across the world, we don't care. It doesn't matter what they do with the Straits of Hormuz, because we're going to be the player. We're going to have the resources, and we're going to be able to get it done. So that's your answer. And this administration doesn't get it. Again, they are socialists. They want us to be average. They got a European mentality, and he's putting us in a heck of a bind from a defense standpoint, military standpoint. If something was to happen today, we'd be in a world of hurt from an energy area. So I want the private sector to take advantage. I want to incentivize the energy business, not penalize them. I want to create jobs, but let's drill while we're trying to decide where we're going to be the next 100 years. This president doesn't want us to mine for coal, but yet he wants everybody to drive electrical cars. But yet 50% of electricity is produced by coal. Now you figure that one out. This is the most confusing.
He hasn't thought through everything.
This is the most confusing president we've ever had, but it is all by design. It's not that he's stupid or whatever. It's all by design. He's doing it on purpose. He needs to go in November.
Let me ask you, you talked about the private sector leading with regard to energy. Of all the different forms of energy, what do you think which form would break first? Which one would produce quicker results so that we could capitalize on in the market?
Well, right here in this district, as you know, we have Comanche Peak in Somerville County, a nuclear plant that is proven. It's clean and it works, so we can take advantage of that right now.
But we can't power our cars off of nuclear energy.
No, but if we're talking about cars, if we're talking about automobiles, cars and trucks, I think you go to natural gas if that's what you want to do. There's a tremendous reserve of that. It's clean, but there again, we have to be able to supply in the old days we said filling stations. We need to apply the areas where people can take advantage of that, turn it over to the private sector. Let them decide what they're going to do.
I understand that they've got kind of a triangle from Dallas to San Antonio to Houston back to Dallas with points, enough points that you can travel that with natural gas, but you know, it's not really mainstream yet. It's not really catching on.
It's not mainstream. There probably needs to be incentives to make people turn their fleets over and so forth. Look, the bottom line is this. The government needs to quit trying to figure it out. We've got many, many years of energy in the ground right here if we can drill and take advantage of it. And we need to do that. And while we're doing that, then let the private sector kind of play with and decide where we need to be the next 100 years, not the federal government, and incentivize them to do that, and they will come up with a way to move vehicles on better highways. They will come up with a way to move vehicles so they can fill up as they need to. But the government needs to get out of it. They confuse everything. The government needs to do three things: collect our taxes, defend our borders, and help us with infrastructure, and then leave the rest to the private sector. I believe in individuals more than the federal government. I think your people listening and reading what we're talking about, I just believe in the individual more than the federal government. The greatest asset America has is Americans. It's not the government.
Right.